You actually had the nerve to show up? Get out! You're an embarrassment to everyone here. No successful man would ever choose a woman like you.
Respect was the only thing I ever wanted.
Everyone owes my wife an apology.
What happened next destroyed one man's pride and exposed a secret that changed every life in that room forever. Vanessa Brooks tightened her grip on the neatly wrapped engagement gift just as a loud burst of laughter echoed across the grand ballroom. "There she is," Logan Pierce shouted, raising his champagne glass high enough for everyone to look. "Everyone, make some room. My ex-wife actually showed up." Conversation stopped. Heads turned. Vanessa froze for a split second before forcing herself to keep walking. Sophia Reynolds, her cousin and the bride-to-be, immediately hurried over. "Vanessa, I'm so happy you came." Vanessa smiled warmly and hugged her. "I wouldn't miss your special day. I'm glad you're here." Before they could say another word, Logan slowly approached with Olivia Carter hanging onto his arm. He looked Vanessa up and down before letting out a sarcastic chuckle. "So, you're still teaching little kids?" Vanessa calmly nodded. "I love what I do." Logan laughed louder. "Love doesn't pay luxury bills." Several guests exchanged uncomfortable glances. Olivia smiled awkwardly, unsure whether she should laugh. Logan continued, "I honestly thought after the divorce you'd disappear somewhere out of embarrassment." Vanessa took a slow breath. "I'm here for Sophia." "Oh, I know." Logan smirked. "But don't you ever get tired of showing up alone?" The room became painfully quiet. Vanessa looked at him without anger. Being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel alone. A few guests quietly looked at each other. Logan's smile faded for only a second before returning. "Oh, still trying to sound wise." Sophia stepped forward. "Logan, today isn't about this." "It isn't," he replied. "I'm just catching up with an old friend." Vanessa gently handed Sophia the gift. "This is for you." Sophia smiled gratefully. "You didn't have to. I wanted to." Logan glanced at the beautifully wrapped package. "I hope you didn't spend too much. Teachers don't exactly make executive salaries." A few nervous laughs escaped from the crowd. Vanessa refused to react. Olivia finally spoke. "Logan, what? I think you've made your point." "My point?" He shrugged dramatically. "My point is people should know reality." He looked directly at Vanessa. No successful man would ever choose a woman who settled for such an ordinary life. The words landed like stones. Vanessa felt every eye in the ballroom watching her. For a brief moment, old memories rushed back. Years ago, comments like those would have broken her completely. Not anymore. She lifted her chin. "My career changes children's lives every single day." Logan smirked. "And yet here you are, standing alone." Vanessa simply replied, "I'm standing." The answer irritated him. He stepped closer. "You know what your biggest mistake was?" Vanessa remained silent. "Leaving me." Sophia frowned. "Enough." "No," Logan continued. "She thought she'd find someone better." He looked around the room. "So where is he?" Silence. He spread his arms dramatically. "That's what I thought." Olivia shifted uncomfortably. Something about Logan's tone no longer sounded playful. It sounded cruel. Logan leaned toward Vanessa. "You traded security for pride." Vanessa met his eyes. "I traded fear for peace." His jaw tightened. "You've become good at pretending. And you've become good at humiliating people." A quiet murmur spread across the ballroom. Logan laughed again. "Humiliating?" He looked around. Did everyone hear that? He pointed toward Vanessa. This woman walked away from everything because she thought she deserved more. He paused before smiling. "Looks like life disagreed." Vanessa's fingers tightened around her purse. Inside, memories resurfaced. The nights Logan criticized every meal she cooked. The mornings he mocked her clothes. The weekends he laughed at her dreams of making a difference through teaching. Every apology. Every tear. Every lonely dinner. Every broken promise. She swallowed hard. Not today. She refused to let the past steal another moment. Sophia touched her arm. "You don't have to stay." Vanessa smiled softly. "I came to celebrate you." Before Sophia could answer, Logan clapped loudly. "Actually," he walked toward the center of the ballroom. "I have an announcement." Guests looked at him. "I think we should all give Vanessa a round of applause." Nobody moved. For having the courage to attend an engagement party when she couldn't even keep her own marriage together. The silence became unbearable. Sophia's fiancé, Daniel Reynolds, finally stepped forward. "Logan, stop." What? This isn't funny anymore. It wasn't supposed to be. Vanessa quietly closed her eyes. She reminded herself to breathe. 1, 2, 3. She opened them again. I hope someday, she said calmly, you discover that hurting people isn't a personality. Several guests lowered their eyes. Logan stared at her before bursting into laughter. Oh, listen to that. He slowly circled her. You always loved giving speeches. Then he lowered his voice enough that only those nearby could hear. But speeches don't hide failure. Vanessa looked at him steadily. Neither does money. For the first time that evening, Logan's smile completely disappeared. Olivia noticed. She had never seen him look genuinely offended. Logan took another step closer. You still think you're better than me? No. Then why leave? Because respect isn't something I was willing to beg for anymore. The sentence hit harder than shouting ever could. Logan quickly recovered. You'll regret that decision forever. Vanessa smiled sadly. I already regretted staying. Daniel discreetly motioned to the musicians to continue playing, hoping to ease the tension, but nobody paid attention. Every guest remained focused on the confrontation. An elderly woman whispered to her husband. She's handled this with remarkable dignity. Another guest nodded. I would have left long ago. Logan heard them. His pride flared. He refused to lose control of the room. He raised his voice again. Tell me something, Vanessa. She remained silent. When was the last time anyone bought you flowers? No answer. When was the last time anyone looked at you like you mattered? Vanessa's heart pounded. She knew exactly when. Just yesterday morning. But she wasn't about to explain herself. Logan laughed. Exactly. Sophia finally snapped. That's enough. No. He pointed toward the ballroom entrance. If she has even a shred of dignity left, she'll walk out those doors. Vanessa slowly turned toward the exit. Maybe leaving was the wiser choice. She had come to celebrate love, not relive heartbreak. She took one step, then another. Suddenly, the massive ballroom doors swung open with a deep, echoing sound. Every conversation stopped. Every head turned. A tall man in a perfectly tailored black suit stepped inside with calm confidence. His polished shoes echoed across the marble floor. The room seemed to hold its breath. His sharp blue-gray eyes scanned the crowd only once before settling on Vanessa. A gentle smile appeared on his face. Without acknowledging anyone else, he began walking straight toward her. Guests instinctively stepped aside, creating a clear path. Whispers spread like wildfire. Who is he? Isn't that? No, it can't be. Logan frowned. Something about the stranger looked familiar. Sophia stared in confusion. Olivia's eyes widened. The mysterious man stopped directly in front of Vanessa. For a brief moment, neither of them spoke. He simply looked into her eyes with warmth and reassurance. Then, without hesitation, he gently reached for her trembling hand. The moment his fingers wrapped gently around Vanessa's hand, the tension in the ballroom shifted. Vanessa looked into his eyes, and the fear she'd been hiding all evening melted away. He gave her a reassuring smile. I'm sorry I'm late. His voice was calm, steady, and filled with warmth. You waited long enough. Vanessa's eyes became glossy. I wasn't sure you'd make it. I promised you I would. He turned toward Logan without letting go of her hand. I always keep my promises. Logan frowned. And you are. The stranger ignored the question. Instead, he looked at Vanessa. Are you all right? She nodded softly. I am now. The room was completely silent. Sophia whispered to Daniel. Does she know him? Daniel shook his head. I have no idea. Logan folded his arms. If you're here for the engagement party, you're interrupting something. The stranger slowly turned to face him. I know. His calm expression never changed. I've been watching. Logan laughed sarcastically. Oh, really? I watched a man confuse humiliation with confidence. The room erupted into whispers. Logan's smile faded. You should be careful. I always am. Logan stepped forward. I asked who you are. The man looked directly into his eyes. My name is Adrian Sterling. Gasps echoed throughout the ballroom. Sophia covered her mouth. Daniel's eyes widened. Olivia blinked repeatedly. No. One guest whispered. Sterling. As in Sterling Horizons? Another replied. The billionaire CEO? A businessman standing nearby immediately recognized him. It really is Adrian Sterling. Whispers spread like wildfire. I've only seen him in business magazines. I heard he owns companies across 3 continents. What is he doing here? Logan forced out a laugh. So you're Adrian Sterling? Yes. I've heard about you. I'm sure you have. Logan straightened his jacket. Well, nice to meet you. Adrian didn't extend his hand. Instead, he calmly replied, I wish I could say the same. The atmosphere instantly grew heavier. Logan's confidence cracked. What exactly is your problem? Adrian looked toward Vanessa. My problem is watching someone I love being treated without respect. The room froze. Vanessa's heart raced. Logan chuckled. You love her. Adrian smiled gently. Very much. Logan laughed louder. Well, congratulations. He looked around the room. I guess she's finally found someone willing to pity her. Several guests frowned. Adrian remained perfectly calm. Pity has nothing to do with love. Oh, no. He looked back at Vanessa. I admired her long before I loved her. Vanessa smiled through tears. Adrian continued. I admired her kindness. I admired her strength. I admired the way she always chose compassion over revenge. He paused. And I admired the courage it took to leave someone who never appreciated her. Logan's jaw tightened. You don't know anything about our marriage. Adrian finally looked directly at him. I know enough. Silence. I know she apologized for things that were never her fault. Vanessa stared at him in surprise. I know she cried herself to sleep more nights than anyone should. Logan shifted uncomfortably. I know she questioned her own worth because someone kept convincing her she wasn't enough. Every word landed harder than the last. Olivia slowly looked toward Logan. Is that true? Logan scoffed. Don't listen to him. Adrian continued. I know she left with nothing except her dignity. Vanessa lowered her eyes. Those were words she had never told Adrian. Yet somehow, he understood. Logan forced another laugh. So what? You married her out of sympathy? Adrian smiled. No. He reached into his jacket pocket. The room watched every movement. He carefully removed a small velvet box. Logan frowned. Vanessa's breath caught. Adrian slowly opened it. Inside rested an elegant diamond wedding ring that sparkled beneath the ballroom lights. Gasps filled the room. Adrian looked only at Vanessa. You've worn your simple band every day. I wanted tonight to remind you that you never have to hide our love again. His voice softened. May I? Vanessa nodded through tears. Yes. He gently slid the ring onto her finger. Then he kissed her hand. My wife deserves to wear this proudly. The ballroom exploded into shocked whispers. My wife. They're married. When did that happen? Sophia's eyes filled with tears. You're married? Vanessa smiled. For almost a year. Sophia laughed in disbelief before hugging her tightly. You little secret keeper. Vanessa laughed for the first time that evening. I'm sorry. Daniel smiled. I think this just became the most unforgettable engagement party ever. Logan stood frozen. His face slowly lost all color. No. He shook his head repeatedly. This isn't real. Adrian calmly answered. It's very real. You married her? I did. Why? Adrian looked genuinely confused. Because I love her. Logan laughed bitterly. She's just a teacher. Adrian's expression hardened. And? Logan blinked. Adrian continued. The title someone holds doesn't determine their value. The size of a paycheck doesn't measure the size of a heart. Character will always outlast status. Several guests nodded. An elderly gentleman quietly applauded. Soon another guest joined. Then another. Within seconds, applause spread across the ballroom. Not for wealth. For Vanessa. Logan looked around in disbelief. The room that had laughed with him only minutes earlier now stood behind the woman he had tried to humiliate. His anger boiled over. You think you're better than me because you're rich? Adrian shook his head. No. Then why stand there judging me? I'm not judging you. He paused. I'm describing what everyone here has already witnessed. Logan opened his mouth but couldn't respond. Adrian took one step closer. You had every opportunity to show kindness tonight. You chose cruelty. You had every opportunity to show maturity. You chose humiliation. You had every opportunity to protect another human being's dignity. You chose your own pride. The room remained silent. Every guest listened. Adrian's voice never rose. If this is how you behave in public. He paused. I can only imagine how you behaved when no one else was watching. Olivia slowly stepped away from Logan. Her hands trembled. Logan. He turned quickly. What? She looked into his eyes. Did you really speak to Vanessa like this every day? He rolled his eyes. Oh, come on. Answer me. I was trying to make her stronger. Vanessa quietly closed her eyes. She had heard those words countless times before. Olivia whispered. No. Logan reached for her hand. You're overreacting. She stepped back. Were all those stories about your difficult marriage lies? They were misunderstandings. Were they? You don't know the whole story. I know what I just watched. Silence stretched across the ballroom. Olivia slowly removed the elegant necklace Logan had given her weeks earlier. She placed it into his hand. I can't be with someone who enjoys hurting people. His eyes widened. What are you doing? Leaving? You can't be serious. I've never been more serious. She looked toward Vanessa. I'm sorry. Vanessa simply nodded. Olivia turned and walked toward the exit. Olivia. She never looked back. Logan hurried after her. Wait. She disappeared through the ballroom doors. Logan stopped. For the first time in years. He looked completely powerless. The room remained silent as he slowly turned back toward everyone. Dozens of disappointed faces stared at him. No admiration. No laughter. Only disappointment. Adrian gently wrapped his arm around Vanessa's shoulders. You don't ever have to explain your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. A tear rolled down Vanessa's cheek. I spent years believing I wasn't enough. Adrian smiled. You were always enough. You simply believed the wrong voice. Vanessa leaned into him. The guests watched quietly. Sophia wiped away tears. Daniel squeezed her hand. Even the musicians stood still. Logan looked around the ballroom one final time. He realized something terrifying. He hadn't lost the room because Adrian was wealthier. He had lost it because everyone had finally seen the truth. As Logan silently walked toward the exit, his phone suddenly vibrated in his pocket. He glanced at the screen. His confident expression instantly disappeared. The caller ID read, Chief Legal Officer. He frowned before answering. What? The voice on the other end sounded urgent. Mr. Pierce, you need to get to the office immediately. His heartbeat quickened. What happened? There was a long pause. Then the voice spoke words that made the color drain from his face. Federal investigators are here, and they're asking specifically for you. Logan's hand tightened around his phone. What do you mean they're asking for me? The voice on the other end sounded tense. They've been here for almost 20 minutes. Logan glanced around the ballroom, suddenly aware that dozens of eyes were still on him. Tell them I'll be there first thing in the morning. You don't understand. I said I'll. They're not leaving. Silence. They have search warrants. Logan's heart skipped a beat. What? They're going through financial records. His breathing became uneven. There has to be some mistake. I wish there was. The call ended. Logan slowly lowered the phone. For the first time that night, fear replaced arrogance. Without another word, he hurried toward the exit. Nobody stopped him. Nobody called after him. The ballroom doors closed behind him with a heavy thud. Sophia exhaled deeply. I don't think I'll ever forget tonight. Daniel shook his head. Neither will anyone else. Adrian turned to Vanessa. Would you like to stay or go home? Vanessa looked around the room. A few hours earlier she had felt small, ashamed, alone. Now she saw smiles instead of judgment, respect instead of pity. She smiled. I'd like to celebrate my cousin. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. She hugged Vanessa tightly. I'm so sorry I didn't stop him sooner. Vanessa hugged her back. You don't have to apologize for someone else's choices. Daniel raised his glass. I think tonight deserves a new toast. Guests lifted their glasses. To kindness. Another guest added. To respect. And to new beginnings. The room erupted in heartfelt applause. For the first time in years, Vanessa felt completely free. The next morning, Sterling Horizons Group's headquarters stood tall above the city skyline. Black luxury vehicles lined the entrance. Television news vans filled the street. Employees whispered anxiously as investigators entered the building carrying boxes of evidence. Inside the executive boardroom, Logan tried to remain calm. This is ridiculous. Across the table sat Inspector Marcus Hale. Beside him were financial investigators and company attorneys. Marcus slid a thick file across the polished table. Mr. Pierce. Logan folded his arms. I have nothing to say. Marcus nodded calmly. You will. He opened the file. We've spent 8 months tracing millions of dollars through shell companies. Logan's confidence began slipping. My lawyers will be present. Marcus interrupted. But first, he placed several photographs onto the table. Bank transfers, fake invoices, forged signatures, offshore accounts. Logan stared silently. Marcus continued. Would you like to explain these? They're fabricated. Marcus slid another document forward. What about this authorization bearing your signature? Logan hesitated. I sign hundreds of documents. And every forged payment. I don't know anything about them. The conference room door opened. Several uniformed officers entered. Employees outside stopped working and watched through the glass walls. Marcus stood. Logan Pierce. He removed a pair of handcuffs. You are under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, financial conspiracy, and falsifying corporate records. Logan stood abruptly. You can't do this. Marcus calmly replied. We already have. The metallic click of the handcuffs echoed through the silent boardroom. Employees gasped. One woman whispered, I can't believe it. Another employee slowly shook his head. So that's where the missing money went. Reporters immediately crowded outside the building. Camera flashes exploded as Logan was escorted through the front entrance. Mr. Pierce, did you steal company funds? Do you have a statement? Did your board know? Logan lowered his head. For years he had loved attention. Today, he wished nobody knew his name. Days later, news channels across the country replayed the footage. Commentators discussed the scandal. Former business partners quickly distanced themselves. Investors withdrew support. The company's board permanently removed Logan from every leadership position. His reputation collapsed almost overnight. Meanwhile, life moved forward. Spring arrived. Flowers bloomed across Riverton. Inside Maple Grove Elementary School, children laughed as Vanessa walked into her classroom carrying colorful books. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss Brooks. A little girl raised her hand. Miss Brooks. Yes, Lily. Why do you always smile? The classroom became quiet. Vanessa smiled even brighter. Because every new day is another chance to become the person you're meant to be. The children nodded, even if they didn't fully understand. Outside the classroom window, Adrian waited with a bouquet of fresh sunflowers. When school ended, Vanessa stepped outside. He handed her the flowers. For the most incredible teacher I know. She laughed. You keep bringing me flowers. I plan on doing it for the rest of our lives. She kissed him gently. I wouldn't complain. He smiled. Good. Several months later, the grand ballroom of the Sterling Hope Foundation Gala sparkled beneath crystal chandeliers. Business leaders, teachers, community volunteers, students, journalists, everyone had gathered for one purpose. Celebrating people who had overcome hardship and used their experiences to inspire others. Vanessa stood backstage. She looked at Adrian. I'm nervous. He gently squeezed her hand. Why? What if my story isn't important enough? He smiled warmly. The woman who once believed she wasn't enough is about to encourage hundreds of people. He looked into her eyes. I'd say that's important. She smiled. Thank you. For what? For reminding me who I am. The host stepped onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker reminds us that strength isn't always loud. Sometimes strength is simply refusing to let pain decide your future. Please welcome Vanessa Brooks. Thunderous applause filled the ballroom. Vanessa slowly walked onto the stage. She looked across the audience. A few months ago, standing before a crowd would have terrified her. Now, she stood tall, confident, peaceful. She smiled. There was a time when I believed my value depended on how someone else treated me. The audience listened carefully. I believed harsh words because I heard them often. I believed I wasn't enough because someone repeated it until I accepted it as truth. She paused. But one day, I realized something. The opinions of people who refuse to respect you should never become the voice inside your own head. The audience applauded. She continued. Healing didn't begin when my circumstances changed. It began when I stopped asking people for permission to value myself. Many people wiped away tears. A young woman sitting near the front quietly nodded. Vanessa smiled. If you're watching this, and someone has convinced you that you'll never be enough, they're wrong. You deserve kindness. You deserve respect. And most importantly, you deserve to believe those things even before anyone else does. The ballroom rose in a standing ovation. Adrian remained seated for a moment. Not because he wasn't proud, because he wanted every bit of that applause to belong to her. Only after everyone else stood did he quietly rise. Their eyes met across the room. No words were needed. Across town, inside a small apartment, Logan watched the gala on television. The room was silent. No expensive furniture. No assistants. No luxury. Just memories. He watched Vanessa smiling. He watched people applaud her. Then he watched Adrian quietly step beside her after the speech. Adrian didn't step in front of her. He didn't steal the spotlight. He simply stood beside her. Proud. supportive, equal. Logan slowly lowered his eyes. He finally understood. He hadn't lost Vanessa because another man had more money. He hadn't lost her because another man was more successful. He lost her the day he stopped respecting her. And respect was something wealth could never buy back. Back at the gala, Adrian extended his hand. Ready to go home? Vanessa smiled. Home. I like the sound of that. They walked out of the ballroom together beneath the glowing city lights. No anger. No revenge. No bitterness. Only peace. As they disappeared into the night. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't proving your worth to the people who hurt you. It's realizing your worth was never theirs to define. The moment Vanessa chose respect over fear, she opened the door to a life filled with genuine love, healing, and hope. Never settle for anyone who makes you question your value, because the right people will never ask you to earn the respect you already deserve. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more powerful emotional stories, and tell us in the comments. Which moment impacted you the most? Logan's public humiliation of Vanessa, Adrian's unforgettable entrance, or Vanessa's inspiring speech at the gala? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, remember, your worth is not determined by how someone else treats you.